Well, hello everybody. Here we are, Module 6. All right, some quick updates for the class. Grading. So all the grading is caught up. There were some of you that didn't have your discussion assignments done, but everybody should be caught up with that. Your quiz, there was a quiz where one of the questions wasn't auto-graded. It was about whether to lease or to purchase. By the way, purchase was the right answer. So many of you got that correct. So great work there. And even if you didn't get it correct, if you had some rationale, some math, many of you got that answer correct. For those of you that didn't, you were like almost there and then just kind of interpreted the information a little bit wrong towards the end. So you got at least maybe half credit for that assignment or that particular question, which was 2 points. So you probably got a single point on that. But anyhow, all that looks really good. All the grading looks done. Let's talk about the midterm. So ProctorU, I know can be a little challenging. The good news is for the vast majority of you, no issues. We had, one or two students who had some hardware issues, which I think in the future I could put a warning out about that. Don't use work laptops. In general, I don't recommend using work laptops, but I'll make sure I'll push that out there because I have had that occur once in the past, and I've had colleagues who have had students who are trying to do things on work laptops where it just doesn't work. And I think, the employer is putting stuff on that laptop that just prevents any kind of remote access or access to proprietary information, which would make sense to me. So, that's a new little disclosure that I'll make sure I'll put out to folks, because you may encounter difficulties with that. But other than that, looked really good. From the technical standpoint. Let's talk about the overall grades on it. So you're probably curious, like, how did it turn out? So the average score was 76. Again, we had almost perfect scores, and there's always kind of a back and forth on that, with low scores in there pretty as well. That's a little lower than, we like to see. It's kind of an outlier there. As you can see, our bell curve. And average time on the test was about 30 minutes. So as you noticed, I didn't emphasize any math or calculator access because there was none. Pretty much just definitions. I would go back and ask yourself, did you look at the, was the midterm, the review packet that I gave you helpful? It should have tied into a lot of the definitions presented on the midterm. And did you use it? If you used it and you got a good grade, then you're like, okay, I got it mastered. Or, if you found that it needed more, let me know because we're going to have our final exam coming up next week. So overall, not too bad on the midterm. Like to see it, the average score, in the 80s, but, we're kind of okay there. Now here is the, I guess the takeaway. Let's say you were on the lower end of that and you got something maybe low 80s or high 70s right in there. In Module 7, no, it's actually in this Module 6, we have an extra credit assignment worth 50 points. That takes care of a lot of missing points. So, and it's not too difficult of an extra credit assignment. Actually, a couple of you have already completed it. So, if you feel that you need the extra points, do that extra credit assignment. It just needs to be completed before the end of the course, which will be next week by Sunday at midnight. So just make sure you have it in there. Many of you are not going to need those points. You're going to sail through, you're going to get your A, and you're going to be fine. But if you need some extra cushion, it is there for you. Let's talk about, next week and the final exam. So we're going to continue to use ProctorU. For those of you that I've talked to and we've made alternative kind of arrangements, we'll continue with that because you may have had some difficulty with the hardware issue. But for the vast majority of you, we'll continue to use ProctorU. Do remember that they really push for that 72 hour advance in scheduling. So the proctor today is Wednesday. The ProctorU window, I'm looking here at the schedule, the scheduling window for you to actually go live and to schedule the exam should open, might even open Friday, but should open Saturday. So if I was you, I would go in there, maybe Saturday and schedule that exam time. At the latest, I would go in there, well, maybe not at the latest. I mean, you could even go in there next Monday and schedule it towards the end of the week. Again, giving yourself that 3-day. Again, ProctorU likes that. We pretty much require that 3-day advance so they can have that kind of that exam window ready for you. So do keep that in mind. So I would definitely, I guess, at the latest, I would probably schedule around Monday for that. But as of right now, the window is not open. So don't where is it, Chris? Again, wait until Friday or Saturday. You should see that information pop up in the module for you to go ahead and to schedule, kind of just like we did with the midterm. Scheduling went from my side of it. I didn't hear anything from scheduling issues. Most of you did. I didn't hear no concerns with the scheduling part, so that seemed to go really, really well. The other question that came up, had one of the students, one of you texted me about or emailed me about what's going to be on the final. It's going to be all the information covered from the midterm. So it's very digestible. You don't have to remember anything. And I will, next week, I'll check in with you. I think there's no math on there as well. I think I dumped all of the math. We're hitting the math within the quizzes. I think, this class, I mean, really, as far as finance goes, just for you to understand that there are mathematical processes for time value of money and return on investment and cash flows. This is important for you to know that they're there. Whether you need to whip out a calculator and do that for your job, probably won't be required. Might be, and there's a lot of calculators on the internet that make it very easy to do that, but just you having a recollection or remembering oh yeah, $1, 6 weeks from now is not equivalent from, I guess from a mathematical perspective, time value of money perspective, as $1 today. You knowing that already sets you apart from a lot of your other colleagues, is that basic understanding of that time value of money. So, not trying to make you, finance gurus with especially the math side, but just you understanding those basic concepts and definitions. If you go away with, remembering 10 to 15% of this class after it's done, I think that's a victory. All right, so there we go for this week. Everything else looks pretty good. I see already a lot of folks have completed a majority of the assignments for Module 6. So again, remember to schedule that final exam, which we'll do through ProctorU again. No later than Monday would be my recommendation, because you're going to do that 3 days out, and maybe you're taking it on Friday or Thursday, whatever works for your schedule. All right, guys, that's pretty much for this week. I'll check in with you in our final module next week. Thanks. Bye.